And we're live. It's Wednesday. I'm Eddie Stone, and nice of you to join me. Today, we're going to talk about a subject I'm incredibly enthused about. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining us. And it springs from a conversation I was having with a colleague, Katrina, the other day. And we've actually known each other a long time, so it's an extension of a conversation we've had over time. And it's our observation of these really strong ideas and opinions that people have about network marketing. And it's interesting to me because this has been my profession for 30 plus years. Now, I'll just tell you right up front, full disclosure, I'm as big a fan as you could possibly be. I've seen the industry, the products and things be very enriching. And so I'm enthused. And so we kind of compiled a list of sort of 7 things that really separate this industry, and I think people really get wrong about what we do. And so I'll be looking forward to sort of getting comments. For those that don't want to do the public comments, I'll look for you on the direct message, but looking forward to kind of what you have to say. But here's sort of my observation about this, and these are my 7. You may have your own 7, but here's the 7 that I sort of look at. First and foremost, network marketing, call it multi-level marketing or direct sales, is just simply commerce. It is a marketing strategy, first and foremost. You've got all kinds of marketing strategies out there. There's direct mailing, things on television, radio. You've got all kinds of strategies from a digital marketing standpoint, but when it comes all down to it, right, this is a marketing strategy, plain and simple. And in this environment, sort of the crux of things are that an individual person, they get enthused about a product or a service, and they want to advocate or share that with other people. And this type of business allows them to be compensated for the references and referrals that they create through talking about and advocating for a product. So really sort of simple in that regard. In the earnings mechanisms, they can vary from company to company, whether we're talking about someone that's in what we call a party plan or various other types of structures. But basically, the more product that you're able to sell through people you advocate to that likewise have an interest in the products that you're offering, the bigger the team that you develop, if that's an aspect of the business that you want to hone in on, the more that you're going to make, right? So very simple in that regard. It is a marketing strategy, and it is simply commerce. And all the while, sort of keep in mind, it's an opportunity to own a business without the traditional financial risk and responsibility. So in that regard, that's one of the greatest separators to me. And frankly, when I first looked at this industry years ago, one of the attractions was that for very low cost, right? I don't want to call it no cost, but in relative terms to buying or starting a business in a traditional sense, nearly no cost, I was able to start a business that ultimately has been my career, for the past 30 years, and allowed me to put a couple kids through college and have a marriage and travel and do all of these wonderful things. Now, to be fair, does everybody have the same experience? No, they don't. They clearly do not all have the same experience, but that's true in all kinds of industries. And I'll come back and visit that in just a moment. And is it true that there are people that are bad actors or companies that are bad actors in this industry? Absolutely, there are. And in fact, I could probably name a couple of them, and I won't do that here. But that's not unique to the direct sales or the multi-level marketing industry. We can look at banking, stockbrokers, local government officials, national government officials. We can look at social media companies. We can look at real estate. We can look at insurance. We can look at automobile sales industry. We can look at the pharmaceutical industry. We can look at the airline industry. We can look at every kind of industry that you can think of, and you can find bad actors from a company standpoint and bad actors from a employee or a staffing standpoint, right? So it's not unique that you would have some people that you wouldn't enjoy or appreciate their business practices or whatever that happens to be. That's not unique in this space. So first and foremost of my 7 is that this is commerce. And in my mind, as pure and simple and direct approach to commerce as it can possibly be. And frankly, the other side for me is that it's this incredibly accessible form of commerce because it just does not require that type of traditional investment and risk that you associate with starting a business. So that's number one for me. Number two are the products. And a good product by any other name is still a good product. And it has to perform for there to be endurance or for people to like and continue to use it. I mean, we're a savvy society. Consumers are savvy today. They have all kinds of mechanisms to sort of vet out an organization or a product. And if they don't like it, they don't have to continue to buy it because there's all kinds of competition out there. In this case, someone that's advocating and developing a business in the direct sales or the multi-level marketing industry, they've been introduced to a product that in all likelihood they tried themselves personally. They had a good experience and said, you know what, I'd like to go out there and advocate for this product. And it can be very personal from that standpoint. And so the other side of it is in today's world, you don't have to be involved with a multi-level marketing organization to enjoy their products. In fact, I have several companies that I buy products from that I have absolutely no association with whatsoever, obviously because of what I do here at Touchstone. So in that regard, a good product is a good product, period. One of the reasons I like this is the efficiency of going directly from the company to the consumer. You know, we have individuals that advocate for our product line and what we do, but they arrange for us to directly ship that to their consumers. And so from the consumer standpoint, they've got a direct relationship with the corporation that creates a level of accountability that I don't think you find in other industries. And so that's one of the reasons why, number two, a good product is a good product. It's got to stand on its own. Number three, and this one's really important to me, it's a really personal business. And I think that shows up first and foremost in the service that you're able to receive when you're working with someone in this type of environment, because there's an accountability. If the person you know recommended a product to you, they're certainly not going to advocate for something that they don't have some confidence and trust in. And frankly, if something goes wrong, they become an advocate for you for a refund or really whatever that happens to be. And I would think, frankly, most mainstream companies would sort of search for ways to sort of capture that same dynamic, because there's nothing more personal than working with someone in this regard. So if you think it's better or more legitimate to buy a product from a gigantic corporation, sort of a faceless corporation, someone that's outsourcing the production of their goods, their manufacturing, their formulations, even outsourcing their customer service, not domestically, but abroad to gosh knows where it might be, then that's okay, then that's something that you prefer. But in our industry, that personal touch to me is a real point of separation. So looking at the key points here, number one, it's just simply commerce. Number two, it's good products where it can't exist in the marketplace, at least for a long period of time. Number three, it's the personal touch. And then number four for me is I believe, and perhaps this is just a personal view, there's nothing wrong with sharing a product that you're enthused about. In fact, I think people are built for that. You know, even the most curmudgeonly person, if they go and try a restaurant they really enjoy, they wind up telling people they know, or a good bottle of wine, or a movie, or an album, or whatever it happens to be, right? That's sort of in our nature. It's not everybody's nature, but there's a lot of us that's sort of in our nature. So when we find a good product that we love, why in the heck wouldn't we tell people? And in fact, now in business or commerce outside of the networking arena, you know, those companies are doing everything they can to pull our reviews and our enthusiasm about products into what they do as a part of their marketing program. And I'll come back to that in just a few moments. So to me, that's a big piece here, is the way that we share and how that impacts people in trying products. Number five, right? If you love something that you're doing, what in the world would be wrong with getting compensated for it? My doctor gets paid and his staff every time I go to the doctor. The guy that's been cutting my hair for 20 years, I'm confident that he profits from that. And even though there's less hair to cut than there used to be, and perhaps one day he and I'll have a parting of the ways when I'm bald, but he's become a good friend of mine, and I'm not bothered by the fact that he makes a living in part cutting my hair, right? The dry cleaners that we use, it's a profitable business for them. The restaurants we go to, I assume they're profitable because they stay in business. When I purchased my truck, I didn't have a problem with the fact that the salesperson was making money from this transaction. And all of those things I've described, and frankly more, some of which just aren't top of mind right now, they're all businesses and services and things that Maria and I were referred to. We rely on people in our community to help us know, particularly when we first moved to the Raleigh-Durham area where we live, help us know, hey, what's a good doctor? Who's somebody that you recommend? Where do you recommend to go do this or that? What restaurants do you enjoy? We're all the time looking at that. I mean, frankly, for us, and I'm sure this is true for you too, right? Time is so precious. I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste an evening on a bad movie. Leaving the house, buying $25 worth of movie tickets. And so we ask, right? I don't want to go get a bad haircut, right? So I want to make sure I'm talking to someone that can give me a good, solid recommendation. So in that regard, I think it's pretty crucial. And that's number 5 for me. There's nothing wrong with compensation for sharing good information. Number 6, we, as much as I think ever in our society, live in a social proof world. Whether it's Yelp or Google or reviews. We have reviews on our website. They're independently housed and conducted, so we can't affect those. We can respond to them, but we can't affect how people respond to us and the reviews they give us. And we're thankful we've got thousands of 5-star reviews, but that's just the world we live in. We embrace that because when a consumer goes to a website, no matter what the goods or services are, in today's world, we're looking for that social proof. That's exactly what our business offers, except it quantifies it here because we're able to participate with our independent distributors who are inviting people or sharing with people what we do. And so the accountability that's offered here, because of the personal touch with the people that you work with, I think is unparalleled in any other sort of business service or marketing strategy that I've seen. And then finally, number 7, I don't think you will ever find a more passionate group of people than people that are involved with a direct sales business, whether that's gifting parties or services or health-related products. They educate themselves. They're generally products of the products themselves, and so they are passionate. Now, sometimes that passion can be a little much, and we want to say to them, hey, turn down the volume, right? I get that. But it's incredibly important to me because there's a fulfillment and a joy that you just see in these individual persons. And so one of the things I really do appreciate is this passion that they bring to it. And I've got to say, I'm a fan of coffee, right? I love coffee. And frankly, I love coffee of all kinds. Generally, I look for local coffee when I'm traveling or even in my current area. But if with my Starbucks rewards card, right, I'm generally called to Starbucks because I know I've got that rewards card and I collect my little stars and my little points. Well, if I had the ability to get a referral, 10 cents on every cup of coffee for someone I referred or gave directions to Starbucks, or even further, if I were able to get a nickel off of every cup of somebody they referred to Starbucks, I gotta tell you, I'd probably just buy Starbucks if at all possible because I'm conscious of that impact, right? It sort of fits in the framework of what I think about. And so that passion to be able to harness that and allow an individual person, even if they're of simple means, to start their own business, position themselves in a vehicle to help them accomplish their financial goals, dreams, retirement, all these things sooner, I think it's a brilliant plan. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not. Not everybody enjoys talking to other people or making recommendations. These are all things that are just sort of personal to us. But these sort of dynamics where people are critical of the industry without investigating the industry sort of surprise me, but I recognize we live in a society where there's a lot of opinions. Now, let me address, I got a pro tip here before we end, but let me address one other thing, and that's failure. Do people get involved in the industry and fail? Absolutely, every day. People go for their real estate license and fail, or their insurance license and fail, or they start at XYZ Corporation and fail. Whatever it happens to be, people find that sometimes they take on a project and it's not a fit. That's okay. It doesn't mean that they really made a mistake or that the company made a mistake. It just means it wasn't a fit. Do we want to overanalyze? Did they make the right kind of efforts? Did the company let them down? I think we could probably find cases where people didn't do their part and companies didn't do their part, right? We can find that at all spectrums of the workplace. So the bottom line for me is this. One, it's an industry that it's just commerce. It's just a way of doing business. The goods, number two, they have to stand on their own, right? They've got to be good products. And so a product by any description, right, it's got to be there for people. Number three, I love the personal service that's unique to this industry. And the fact that we can allow people to share these good products that they're enthused about. And then number five, allow them to earn a commission or referral or develop a business or an income or replace a job. Number five, with the income that they're earning. I think that's a brilliant aspect of what we do. I also appreciate the accountability. It's a world where social proof now matters maybe more than ever before, and we fit in that, right? I think better than maybe any other organization or any other type of business was ever geared towards it because of the dynamics of the interpersonal relationship with people. And then finally, number seven, I love the passion, right? I don't love it 100% of the time, but I got to say, the majority of the time, I really love the passion that people bring to it. And the fact that there's failure, that's okay. I'm the type of person that looks at that and looks for the instructions of it. So here's my final thing that I'll leave you with. The other side of this is, it is a chance, if this is something that interests you, it's worth investigating. And it may, after investigation, may not be something that you want to get involved with. But as I said earlier, it's a chance to start a business without the traditional risk and financial responsibilities. And it can be an opportunity with hard work. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. With hard work, the right kind of attitude to go out there and learn, it can be a vehicle to get you closer, sooner to retirement or whatever those financial definitions and things that are important to you, more so than I believe, at least from my own exposure, any other kind of business that's accessible by just regular people that are looking to do extraordinary things. So with that, that's the message I wanted to share today. I'm looking forward to the continued conversations and being back on here with you live next week. Make the rest of this week a great one, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.